that there is no separation in this impersonal consciousness. It's a one totality of consciousness.
It's one totality.
So in that sense, then
this one totality, that is the consciousness at rest, in which consciousness is not aware of itself. The moment the sense of awareness, I am, arose in that consciousness at rest, the consciousness became aware of itself. And awareness means a duality. To be aware, you have to be aware of something. So in that unbroken wholeness, the consciousness in its state of rest, in its original state of rest, there was no need for it to be aware of itself. So when this sense of I am arose in that state of consciousness at rest, which the scientist calls the Big Bang, then this awareness arose, and the awareness, with that awareness came this duality. And with that awareness came this manifestation. And the manifestation, once it arises, the existence of the manifestation depends on its being observed. And for its being observed, the manifestation needs space in which the manifestation, the three-dimensional object, can be extended, and time in which that three-dimensional object can be observed. So all that is really happening is that once the manifestation has come into being, observing is taking place, and for observing to take place, the observing takes place through individual body-mind organisms. So each individual organism is an object through which the impersonal consciousness observes its own manifestation.
Now, so far in this story, there's identification or not? Is the me necessary for this observing to take place?
No. The me comes in only after the basic duality of the observing taking place through an observer object and the observed object. For the observing to take place, there has to be an observer object and the observed object. When the observer object assumes this subjectivity, then this dualism comes into being. Otherwise, they are both observer object and observed object.
And the true subject is this totality
That
of
is
consciousness,
correct.
impersonal.
So the only subject is totality of God, observing through the individual organism. But once the observer object assumes subjectivity, then the me and the other comes in. So for the observer object becomes the observer subject. And the rest of, and by that means he separates himself from the rest of the universe as his object.
And that's how this so-called real world, the world that most people think of as real, comes into being.
With this individual separation, this interhuman relationships come in, and life and living as we know have come in. But once this realization happens, that the observer subject is really only an object, that is what the ultimate enlightenment means. So the ultimate enlightenment merely means a reversal of the process which has happened from duality to dualism. So the reversal from the dualism to duality, when the observer object realizes that he cannot be a subject, that the only subject is totality of God, and that he is only an object through which observing takes place, then the usurpation of the original usurpation of this subjectivity is given up. And the observer object no longer considers himself as a subject, but that he is merely an observed object like anybody else, and that he is an instrument through which the observing happens. And he is merely an instrument through which totality of God functions and brings about such actions as are considered necessary.